keep the issue alive for a little while, but once it goes away, we got nothing. We got a whole president who was elected on the backs of black people, and we still don't see what we getting out this year. He keeps saying he got time. You don't got time. But we have not held him accountable. And we keep making deals with people who are not giving us nothing. Instead of getting something and then having them make the deals with us. So I hope that answers your question. It's not as simple as that, but it's about us really holding people accountable and putting things in place that protects us. But even when we put things in place that protects us and these things pass, there's no oversight to make sure that we're getting what we need. So now you're still having the same question about something that happened in 2018 because there's no oversight.
Thank you. And if I could just follow up with a comment, I think having that, taking that extra step in initiative, that it's not just about ELA, math, science, social studies, and all these core curriculum, these core concepts, is really about what's going on with the systems around you and how that affects you. So I agree with having it at middle school because they are very aware, especially with technology. They're getting sourcing information from social media, and a lot of it is being misused in a way, and doesn't really give the whole perspective of what life really is. So thank you for sharing that, and also thank you for telling us and informing us to really hold people accountable.
That's it. And actually, what was developed in the plan that you have, it really speaks to accountability and oversight. And that's why that's something I could absolutely support, because it really holds people accountable, it tracks, it makes the government efficient, and it's something that we can connect to. So though it's important to have organizations like this, but it's important to give people in the beginning to commit to supporting that agenda. That's really important. Stop letting people tell y'all what they're going to do and you haven't seen them do nothing.
I'm sorry I have to share because I'm not going to take the credit on my own because Alicia, Monique, Shari, Gwen has hosted us and Power and Youth has hosted us. So we set up this career apprentice model when nobody really kind of sort of believed in it. And Alicia and I really, I was doing it before, but we were part of a large organization and they probably thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But I train myself to speak on things that I know. I don't try, I'm not that ambitious, I don't take risks. When you know what you know, you win. Right? 1 + 1 is 2, we stack the deck. But a lot of that, right? A lot of that work has happened already, so this is part of the brain trust. This is really part of the brain trust. Huh? Yeah, no, but these are part of the folk, that got us to that document. Because we tried it out, we kept pushing the needle, and we didn't get the full employee commitment, but we got resources to develop our own apprenticeship-like models, and it works. So I just can't hear that without, sharing, some of the key, kind of partners in them. And when you have small businesses like Gwen, to hire people after we train them up, she'll fire them if they're not doing well, but sometimes we always say the safest space to get fired is at home. Right? Because you can get fired with us, and then we put you on a timeout, and then you come back, and then we give you another chance and another chance, But that's the value of having, kind of those employee partners with, our smaller, kind of grassroots, businesses. But now we can scale it up. That's what we're sharing with you. Now we can scale it up. I'm sorry,
As an entrepreneur in the community, I know Nikki, I didn't know all her backstory, but I was a part of trying to fight for her when they attacked her, when they attacked her business. And, with their professional organizations, when they were shutting down the little businesses because the war was up there. But I was new in the community at that time. I've been in this business here for about 17 years. And so now, I see something going on in Gateway, because I happen to mosey on up there and try to make a second establishment or a new establishment. And I need to understand, well, they have it so shut down up there that if you don't have a Gateway address, you can't talk to the population. Like, they told me with a Gateway address, I can go up there and I can put flyers on the cars and go all through anywhere I want in that mall. But if I don't have that address, then that's not open to us as entrepreneurs, and that's not fair. They're building, I don't even know how massive this complex is gonna be with the population. But the businesses back here on the road need to have access to it too. But you don't. I guess not let you pay, I mean, 12, I don't know. But, somebody needs to do something about the restrictions. Because I remember from a kid, I remember when they built Starwood City, there used to be the dump. We used to go out there and race cars out there, and then they built Starwood City, that's how far back I go, before Starwood City was even built. And they tried to put a gate around Starwood City to prevent the people from the community accessing it. And it's only in the past 10 years.
Drive through, actually.
Huh?
It was like that for some time.
Yeah, it's right, and it's only in the past, maybe in the past 10 years, they started putting the people from the community into Starwood City because I helped them process their papers to get in. That's how I know. And before that place was not accessible, and now they're doing the same thing with this new complex that they're developing. And the politicians are sitting here doing nothing. And the politicians are part of it because I was shocked when I saw Gateway Mall is still the same zip code as Starwood City. God thought. So it's still the same theory getting ready to go on that's going to exclude us in the community. And I wanted to know how, I remember they didn't even have a bus into the Gateway Mall for the people in the community. That's how off limits it was. And it's the same design coming up again as they extended and expanded. They're excluding the community, and we need the politicians to step in and do something about it.
So let me speak to a few things. When y'all see this stuff coming up, you gotta say something immediately. Because deal's already done, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just about talking to the elected officials. The elected officials have to be knowledgeable enough to make sure that we're negotiating those things before, right?
They have to do it.
Right?
And it's clear that elected officials, whatever way it's going down, they probably co-sign it under the table. And that's the part that's not clear. I'm not
to some things because I gotta have proof about it. But I'm not stupid, I can see.
That's what I'm saying, I said co-sign it under the table.
The reality of it all is that you gotta really understand the roles of the elected officials to understand how you're being cheated or how they're helping. If you don't understand those things are gonna happen right under your nose, right? So between the developers, the contractors, the reason why we shouldn't be fighting for this fair share of work, right? We shouldn't, really, our community, our district was never welcoming to unions in the first beginning. Straight up, just wasn't welcome. So they had developers coming in, paying our people like $16 an hour. They weren't like journeying to other jobs. It was unsafe conditions. If you go to Gateway now, even the quality of the materials that they use is below standards. And these are all things that we can control before these things happen. And then when we see it happening, somebody calls somebody like me. Nikki, we got dumping over here. Nikki, we got floods. You gotta say these things to these people and hold them accountable. It's about accountability. If you keep putting these people into office, what do they have to do anything for? I can get me a free check and I don't have to do nothing. Those are things, Ms. Glenn, that should have been negotiated. But what do we do now? Forget about what happened, because we can't change it. You see that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
But the
sorry.
reality of it all,
I'm sorry.
sorry. Can I ask a question? So, can you explain what you just said? You're telling me that if you don't have an address in Gateway, that you can't put a flyer on a car. Is that what you're saying?
Not in that track.
And how do they enforce that?
How do they enforce that? I can't imagine. See, I have seen them doing it time. So they have my address, right? On the flyer. And I saw them when they started building Gateway and they went up to the stores on Pennsylvania Avenue. And they hit Nikki. And my suggestion was all you could do is shut down after they burnt you. That was my advice to them.
But I want to know how are they enforcing the removal of your paraphernalia?
Evidently, they will come back at me because I'm sure the consumer affairs, all of it is linked up together.
Oh, in that way.
It's all linked up together.
Let me just say,
The reason I know is because I speak to the guy with Fusion, and he helped me understand some of the dynamics of the business, and now I get around. So now I'm with the what's the restoration thing in Gateway? Right. So I'm trying to start a new business there, but I need to talk to the residents. That's what I want to serve. So now I'm trying to find out how I can because she told me that I can advertise, because I have that Gateway address. So I can go all through the mall, put my flyer. You go on Gateway, you never seen no flyers on nobody's cars. You've never seen none of that.
well, I don't know if I necessarily want to fly on my car. Because if it rains and it gets stuck on my window, I'm gonna have a problem with it. But let me just speak to this. First of all, the Eastern York Restoration is an establishment that I have previously criticized as no secret, right? Because the very problem that you're having is something that you shouldn't be having when there's a local development corporation. They're supposed to support, help with, they have incubator space that's not really
Right, but
promoted
that's what they were
in the way that it
supporting me.
should be. And to be quite honest with you, and I'm sorry, I have to speak to this. There was an already existing local development court. Because the elected officials had issues with some of the people that were running that, instead of investing into that, to expand it, with people that have been there and are extremely knowledgeable about the community and the businesses in it, they decided to create their own. And we gotta stop supporting people that do things like this. We don't have to cancel them, but we gotta correct them. But it has gone so far that cancellation may be the only option.
Well,
But it's not functioning the way that it's supposed to be functioning.
I respectfully understand that, and that's what, like I'm saying, I found that out through them. I now have marketing access to the whole population of Gateway Mall. So I just want to get into the buildings. But I'm allowed to go and put flyers up. And me and Cyrus were talking about exploring addresses outside of the Gateway structure. But that's going to limit my ability of exposure. Because that's the roof set up in Gateway. How they did that, I'm not a politician. I'm a little entrepreneur.
Thank God for your success, but what about the other businesses?
That's why I'm talking about it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah? Because it's not fair. So that's why I said about all the other little people here, this is not fair. So, you're gonna do something. Well, I'm gonna leave that alone. I have to do, I'm a member of both LBC. That's all I'm doing.
I mean, that's part of the problem too. The small businesses are not organizing in the way that they should. Okay, you had a question?
Yeah, I do.
In addition to that, the community board should be assisting with some of this stuff as well. But I'm sorry, Gabe.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Jameson, not Gabe, Jameson. The topic was about, what Cyrus said, the topic was on apprenticeship. So I think that's really huge because I think you said earlier today that I can agree on. You said, let's prevent and let's course correct. That's the key to everything, you know what I'm saying? I'm pro economic development, so that makes sense. So my background is environmental renewable energy. So it's a bunch of jobs coming down. I was a program manager of a program called Solar Pioneer. We're the first in the nation, Nehemiah Economic Development was a partner with BTTM. We ran a program, we hired